This is a review of the article, Effective Inclusion Practices by Alyssa M. Barnes, PhD. Inclusion is more than just being in the classroom together. It is the development of friendships and the true sense of belonging. In the educational setting, inclusion has been defined and redefined many times over. So what is inclusion? Barnes uses the following three criteria to define inclusion of children with disabilities. First, children with disabilities have the opportunity to communicate and build meaningful relationships with peers from their own community. Second, a team of educators works together to make educational decisions. And third, 10% or fewer students within a general education classroom are requiring special needs. There has been much research on the topic of inclusion and appropriate educational placement for students with disabilities. FAPE states that each child, regardless of disability, has the right to a free and appropriate education in the least restrictive environment, often referred to as the LRE. For this reason, inclusion of students with special needs has become a heated topic in education today, many for inclusion and many against inclusion. The research shows that while there are definitely difficulties within the implementation of inclusion, the benefits for children with and without disabilities are well documented. In a review of related literature, Barnes describes several benefits of including children with disabilities in the general education setting. Researchers found improved gains in language, cognitive, and motor development, as well as play skills, also increased communication and social interactions. An inclusion model also provides these students with opportunities to develop meaningful relationships with their peers. An effective inclusion environment also provides general education students with benefits as well. Typically, developing children demonstrate advanced social skills, fewer disruptive behaviors, less prejudices, and fewer stereotypes, increased awareness of the needs of others, higher rates of acceptance, and more responsiveness or helpfulness to others. The most important word being repeated over and over again in Barnes' review of the research is the word effective. In an effort to explore what an effective inclusion model might look like, Barnes led an analysis of Briarwood Elementary, which is a school at the forefront of full inclusionary models. Participants were chosen using a criterion-based method, which included having more than 4 years of experience teaching in a full inclusion model and the recommendation of various educational and community leaders. Barnes and her team conducted one-on-one interviews with each participant lasting for about 30 minutes. There were 7 teachers and 3 administrators. The interviews were recorded and transcribed verbatim. Then the scripts were coded and analyzed for common themes and topics. The first instructional strategy Barnes identified was seeing the whole child. Barnes explained that using a strength-based approach allows educators to understand the whole child as opposed to just the deficiencies of a child. Viewing the child as an individual with strengths and weaknesses can help develop a more individualized education plan for success. Using performance-based assessments was identified as being an effective practice, which also supports inclusion. Providing students with the opportunity to show what they know and understand in a variety of ways will actually benefit all students, not just those with disabilities. Not using performance-based assessments sometimes limits the potential of some students. In addition, the use of visuals and graphic organizers in the classroom are also effective practices. Using visual schedules, vocabulary cards with pictures, and graphic organizers are all ways to help support children, help them communicate, and encourage participation in the classroom setting. Finally, and probably the most important, was the idea of collaboration being necessary for the success of conclusion. In fact, one teacher stated in her interview that chaos was inevitable without strong collaboration between professionals. Collaboration becomes a crucial part of the decision-making process when determining an action plan for a child requiring special services. In summary, Barnes' study provided a wealth of information regarding the benefits of inclusion for both students with disabilities and the typically developing student. The most important takeaway from Barnes' research is that in order for inclusion to be effective, there are 4 practices that should be present: using a whole child approach, using performance-based assessments, using visual and graphic organizers, and effective collaboration.